reported on.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean, it's just the experiment, the energy that goes in the experiment versus came out, it was net positive.
Okay.
However, what it took to set up the experiment,
right, okay, right.
the whole kit and the caboodle to get to that volume in which you had the fusion is itself a whole expenditure of energy and technology.
Exactly.
And so it's a first step to show you that it's possible. And what you have to do is make everything else efficient that's around it, on the hope and expectation that one day it's going to
like the electric car. Like the electric car, once you have it and you're driving it, yeah, it's doing great in terms of if you take renewable fuel and use that to put the electricity in the car, what you're doing is you're net zero.
Net zero.
But the fact is, if you made more pollution making the car
that makes no pollution,
yes.
So it was an important test of concept. It made headlines, by the way.
Right.
And I was interviewed heavily about it, if I remember, on CNN and this sort of thing. So I was very happy about that because there's no shortage of hydrogen in the universe. It's the #1 atom.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah.
Did I tell you I was listening to a radio play one time? There were aliens that were coming to Earth to suck up our water supply.
Right.
Because they thrive on hydrogen.
Right.
And they knew that water is H2O.
Right.
H2O.
Right.
Right. And I'm listening to this. They came across the galaxy and consume our water supply.
Right.
To get
hydrogen.
When
only the most plentiful thing.
98% of all atoms in the universe are hydrogen. These are some stupid aliens.
Right.
And so I was very disappointed in that story.
And you get the good hydrogen on Earth. Come to Earth, the best hydrogen there is. Yeah, no.
So anyhow, there's no shortage of hydrogen.
Right.
And so if we could perfect this process, then it's unlimited energy for practically zero cost for the rest of the world and all of civilization.
Wow.
And it's not dependent on if the sun is shining or if the wind is blowing or if the tide is moving or what oil well you dug, right? Or it's not dependent on
any of that.
Yeah.
Wow, sounds like a wonderful dream. Well, listen, sounds like we're on our way.
That's right, but people still have a spook factor about nuclear power.
Yeah.
If you told them how many people died mining coal,
oh my God,
to supply their energy that we've been using for the past century and a half.
Right.
Yeah, it's hundreds of thousands of people.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right.
Not to mention how messed up their skin is just because of it.
Oh, or their lungs.
Or their lungs. God.
I had a geeky childhood.
Okay.
So I always wanted to know what was the longest word in the biggest dictionary.
Okay.
And at the time, my access to dictionaries included the Random House unabridged dictionary.
It's the best.
Okay. I didn't know about the OED, but the Oxford English Dictionary, but the Random House was nice and big. It's found the biggest word.
Yeah.
Okay. It's pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
God bless you. So sorry. I'm so sorry that happened.
That is sensibly abbreviated to black lung.
Wow, is that what that is?
That's what that is.
Black lung.
So pneumono,
right?
Ultramicroscopic.
Okay.
Silicovic.
So
that's like the
tiny little silicates.
Right.
Inside the pneumono lungs.
Yeah. Right. Coniosis. So it's the medical folks staple together all the syllables. But
right.
So that's coal, and it's coal dust, and people died from this.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not here to say fewer will die with this. That's not the right way to approach this. Just demonstrate the safety of these nuclear plants, and maybe people will come around.
Pneumono stuff. Better known as.
Coughing on this. I don't know if it's still the biggest word in that dictionary. Plus, I don't know what the biggest word is in the Oxford English Dictionary. Okay. That's a whole other thing. A whole other number. But anyhow, why do we even go? Oh, because the safety factor is going to matter to people if they want to sort of vote this through. But we first have to make it efficient and scalable so that you can then have one in every city or wherever.
Yeah, so so John, it's not happening anytime soon.
And by the way, it has no byproducts such as what you get with fission. Fission has all these
unstable nuclear waste. What we call it, nuclear waste. We got to put some place in it. Sticks around for 150, 200 years
or more.
Or more.
Right. Have you ever wanted one of your questions on the universe answered? We all have questions about the universe. From black holes to quasars, quantum entanglement, wormholes. There is no end to the depths of cosmic curiosity. Well, the entry level of Patreon membership with Star Talk gets you just that. I think it starts at $5 a month. You have access to the question line that reaches our Cosmic Query programming. And not only that, we produce a special Cosmic Queries installment just for Patreon members.
So if you weren't the director of the Hayden Planetarium, what do you think you would be doing?
Right. But this has to be another universe. It wouldn't happen in this universe.
Okay.
I'd be a songwriter for Broadway musicals.
Ooh!
So that's the entry level, and the perks ascend from there. There's a level, in fact, where we send you an autographed copy of one of my latest books. Right now, it's Starry Messenger, Cosmic Perspectives on Civilization. It's signed with my fancy fountain pen, purple ink. So I invite you to just check the link below, and all of that money goes to our ability to experiment with new ways of bringing the universe down to Earth. So thank you for those who've already joined, and we welcome others to participate in this grand adventure of what it is to bring the universe down to Earth. As always, keep looking up.
All right, this is Charlie Cervone, who says, hello, Dr. Tyson, Lord Nice, Charlie from Hudson, Ohio here. This may be elementary, my dear doctor, but I've heard it said when discussing the accelerated expansion of the universe and the Hubble constant, that the further away objects are in the universe, the more redshifted they are and therefore receding away from us faster. Wouldn't it stand to reason then that objects closer to us in time and space are receding more slowly, and that the expansion is slowing over time? Can you please help me understand how this works? Thank you for expanding all of our horizons.
Oh, I see what he did there.
Yeah, did you see
Very
that?
good.
Yeah, that was nice.
Very good.
Very,
That's
very good,
classy.
Charlie. We're on to you, Charlie.
Very classy. So, the first half was correct.
Right.
All right. As an object is farther away,
Yes.
the way the expansion profile of the universe works is that those objects that are farther are receding faster from us.
Okay.
Okay. Those objects that are nearby are receding more slowly. Okay. As the universe expands, these things will all go faster. And so to think or suggest that it's nearby objects are receding more slowly, so therefore aren't we, what did he imply?
So what he's saying is that wouldn't it stand to reason that the objects close to us in time and space are receding more slowly, and that the expansion is slowing?
Oh, okay, so over time, we've got to throw a time factor in there. If you waited 1 billion years, those objects would be farther away from us and moving faster.
Exactly.
So, no, nothing's slowing down.
Nothing. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
at all.
As a matter of fact, it's speeding up. Right.
Speeding up.
Speeding up. That's the real problem.
That's the real problem.
That's the real problem.
Right.
It's actually.
No, I want to value judge nature. I'm not going to call it a problem.
Okay.
I'm going to call it an observation.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
The universe is expanding without limit, such that the universe will end not with a bang, but with a whimper.
Oh, that's terrible.
And not in fire, but in ice.
And you call that not a problem? What the heck is the problem then? That's not a problem.
Just fine.
No. All right, so there you have it. I hope that satisfies you, Charlie.
Mhm.
But thanks for the good question and the great little wordplay. So this is Danny K. He says, hello, Commander Tyson and Sergeant Nice. No, don't do that, Danny. It's Dr. Tyson and Lord Nice. Don't be giving us...
Maybe he doesn't know why they call you Lord.
Is that
So
true?
he's thinking
He's giving you titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Right. No.
So maybe he's a new subscriber to the series. He doesn't have the
He
backstory.
doesn't have the backstory of Lord Nice. All right, let me give it to you, Danny, real quick.
Okay.
Don't do that.
No, that's not
So here we
the
go.
backstory.
Is that not the backstory? No, I'm joking, Danny. I'm joking. What happened? Who was she? She was a 4-star general or 3-star general.
So
She's a 3-star general.
We had Major General
Right.
on interviewing her about, was it climate change or something?
Yeah, it was climate change.
Or something? All right.
Yeah.
And we had Charles Liu.
Charles Liu.
Who was on. Charles did some wordplay with Gilbert and Sullivan.
Right.
Okay. And
Right.
he said, you are the very model of a modern Major General.
General.
That's
She's a major general.
We were doing Q&A, and people said Dr. Tyson and Chuck, right? And you said,
oh,
you got all pissy about
that's
it.
What happened.
And you said, I can't
have right, everybody got a title, but
and the Major General said, we will forever.
No, you're not back.
Lord, nice. That's what it was.
Stuck.
That's what it is. It's stuck ever since.
You're just a figment of my imagination.
Yeah, that's an earlier episode of Star Wars.
Well, here we go. I salute thee, he says, Danny Kringdongo, hailing from the flatlands of the Netherlands. A question I have, seeing as to so many cities and other archaeological discoveries are being made underwater. Would this sudden rise in water volume be a result of those ice thingies melting due to global warming? Or could it be due to the Earth's position and distance from the sun and the moon? So, when we have underwater archaeological finds where there were civilizations and they're now covered in water, is that global warming, rising sea level, melted icebergs? What would cause that? Yes, and that's yes. Yes. That's correct.
Sorry, he's from the Netherlands. Yes, the Netherlands, and so they will be in very high demand as sea level rise. Is the question suitable for somebody from him?
Of you?
The whole country's canals and dams and dikes.
Right, okay. They're going to be in high
A
demand.
hardy hard.
We want to keep our land mass. But we make these canals.
Think that.
You know, we do a little bit of north to this whole.
No, that's over. That's
so I'm not surprised by
no more of that.
Very much culturally informed and inspired.
That song will never be played again.
To the last ice age.
Disrespect.
Earth was covered in ice and glaciers.
Uncalled for, even.
Where did that water come from to become glaciers?
I am about to show you
rain. Where did
the heaviest hand. Your cheeks will never be redder.
Okay, how did the rain get in the sky?
Your cheeks are going to be purple.
Get right into it. Number 7. Maggots eating your flesh on purpose. Picture this. You're chained up in a dark medieval dungeon, and some guard dumps a bucket of squirming maggots onto your open wounds. The little white worms start crawling all over you, burrowing into your flesh. They leave prisoners rotting with untreated wounds, letting nature's tiny monsters feast on their bodies. But here's where it gets wild. Some battlefield doctors started noticing something that made no sense. Soldiers who came back from war with maggot-infested wounds were actually healing better than the ones without them. The guys with clean wounds were dying from infection. Turns out these disgusting little creatures are the pickiest eaters on the planet. They only eat dead, rotting tissue. They won't touch the healthy stuff. It's like having an army of microscopic surgeons working 24/7, cleaning out all the nasty bits while leaving the good parts alone. Fast forward to today, and doctors are literally breeding maggots in sterile labs. These aren't your garbage can variety maggots. These are medical-grade, FDA-approved maggots. Hospitals actually order them like medicine. The maggots even produce their own antibiotics while they're munching away. They're eating the infection and disinfecting the wound at the same time. It's like hiring a cleaning crew that brings their own supplies. The best part is modern doctors put the maggots in these little mesh bags, like tiny tea bags full of worms. They place them on your wound, and the maggots do their thing through the mesh. No more worrying about them crawling up your leg or into places they shouldn't be. Number 6. The rack that fixed your back. The rack was medieval Europe's favorite way to make someone spill their secrets. They'd strap you down on this wooden frame, tie ropes to your wrists and ankles, then slowly crank the wheel. Your body would stretch like taffy until your joints started popping out of their sockets. First your shoulders, then your hips. The sound of ligaments snapping was like bubble wrap from hell. Most people would confess to anything, even crimes they didn't commit, just to make it stop. But this torture device that ripped people apart actually inspired one of today's most popular back pain treatments. Modern spinal decompression therapy uses the exact same idea as the rack. They strap you to a table and gently pull your spine apart, only instead of trying to make you confess to witchcraft, they're trying to fix your herniated disc. The modern version has computers monitoring every millimeter of movement. Sensors track your muscle tension. If your body starts fighting back, the machine automatically eases off. It's like the difference between a sledgehammer and a surgeon's scalpel. Same basic tool, totally different application. The stretching creates negative pressure inside your spine, like a vacuum. This sucks bulging disc material back where it belongs. Imagine squeezing a jelly donut until the filling squirts out, then somehow sucking it all back inside. That's what's happening to your discs. The same force that once tore nights apart is now putting office workers back together. Number 5. The drill that saves lives. You're in ancient Peru with the worst headache of your life. The local healer has a solution that'll make your blood run cold. They're going to drill a hole in your skull while you're awake. They believed evil spirits were trapped in your head, causing all your problems. The only way out is to give them an exit hole. Scientists have found thousands of ancient skulls with perfect circular holes drilled into them. Most of these people survived. We know because the bone around the holes shows healing. These weren't botched surgeries. These people lived for years after having their skulls opened like a can of beans. Turns out these ancient brain surgeons accidentally discovered something brilliant. When you get smacked in the head really hard, your brain swells up like a sponge soaking up water. But your skull is a solid box that doesn't stretch. The pressure builds and builds until it crushes your brain from the inside. By drilling holes, they were releasing that pressure and saving lives. Today's neurosurgeons do the exact same thing. They call it a craniotomy. Instead of sharp rocks, they use diamond-tipped drills and precision saws. But the basic idea hasn't changed in 5,000 years. Create a hole, release the pressure, save the patient. Modern surgeons can even remove a whole section of skull and store it in the patient's belly to keep it alive. Then weeks later, they put it back like a puzzle piece. Ancient Peruvians had a different approach. They take that skull piece and turn it into jewelry. Number 4. Ice water torture becomes therapy. The ducking stool was medieval Europe's answer to dealing with women who talk too much. They'd strap you to a chair attached to a wall wooden beam, then repeatedly dunk you into the freezing river while the whole town watched and placed bets on how long you'd last. Each dunk lasted longer than the last. First, just a quick dip to shock you, then holding you under until your lungs burned for air. The crowd would cheer as you came up gasping and shivering. The water was so cold it felt like thousands of needles stabbing your skin all at once. Your body would go into shock, your heart racing like it was trying to escape your chest. Now that same torture is a luxury treatment that costs hundreds of dollars. Professional athletes line up to voluntarily jump into ice baths. The same freezing shock that was designed to break your spirit is now used to make you stronger. LeBron James does it. Tom Brady swears by it. When you hit that ice water, your blood vessels slam shut like doors in a hurricane. This squeezes out all the waste products that make your muscles sore. Your body floods with adrenaline and endorphins, natural painkillers stronger than anything you can buy at the pharmacy. Number 3. Sleep deprivation is medicine. Witch hunters in medieval times had a favorite trick. Keep the accused awake until they confessed. No sleep for days, sometimes weeks. Guards would take turns poking them with sticks, throwing cold water, making noise. After 48 hours without sleep, you start seeing shadows move. After 72 hours, those shadows have faces. By day 4, you're having full conversations with people who aren't there. You'd confess to dancing with the devil just for 5 minutes of sleep. The torture was so effective because sleep deprivation literally breaks your brain. Your thoughts get tangled like earbuds in your pocket. You can't tell what's real anymore. Medieval torturers knew that a sleep-deprived person would say anything, admit to anything, just to make it stop. But modern psychiatrists looked at this torture method and saw potential. They discovered that keeping severely depressed patients awake for 1 week could snap them out of it. About half feel dramatically better within 24 hours. It's like their brain gets stuck in a loop and staying awake forces it to restart. The effect is almost magical. Patients who haven't smiled in months suddenly feel joy again. People who couldn't get out of bed are suddenly full of energy. But like Cinderella's carriage, the magic wears off. Once they sleep again, the depression usually returns. So doctors created triple chronotherapy. They combined the sleep deprivation with bright light therapy and carefully controlled sleep schedules. They're using the same brain-breaking technique that made innocent people confess to witchcraft, but now they're using it to pull people out of the darkness. Number 2. Bloodletting that actually works sometimes. Medieval doctors were obsessed with draining blood like vampires with medical degrees. They had elaborate charts showing where to cut based on your zodiac sign and the phase of the moon. Got a fever? Drain a pint. Feeling sad? Better make that 2 pints. They'd slice open veins with special knives and let the blood flow into bowls. Some doctors even tasted it to diagnose problems, like sommeliers of human blood. The tools were terrifying. Spring-loaded lancets.
I didn't know he could do that from the air.
Scarificators with multiple blades that made several cuts at once. Fleams, which were basically brass knuckles with knives attached. They turned bloodletting into an art form, if your art involves making people leak. George Washington died because his doctors drained half his blood trying to cure a throat infection. They took 80 ounces in 12 hours. That's like donating blood 10 times in one day. The treatment literally killed him faster than the disease would have. But modern doctors still drain blood to treat certain conditions. They just use sterile needles instead of rusty blades. Hemochromatosis makes your body hoard iron like a doomsday prepper. All that extra iron rusts your organs from the inside. The cure is to drain blood regularly to get rid of the excess iron. Then there's polycythemia vera, where your bone marrow goes crazy making red blood cells. Your blood gets thick as syrup. Your heart struggles to pump it. You could have a stroke at any moment. The treatment is literally medieval. They drain the blood until it thins out. Number 1. The poison that heals hearts. Foxglove was medieval Europe's deadliest lie detector. Accused of theft, eat these purple flowers. If you survive, you're innocent. If your heart explodes, well, clearly you were guilty. The plant contains digitalis, a poison so powerful it can stop your heart with just a few leaves. Medieval folks called it dead man's bells, because the flowers look like tiny purple bells, and eating them meant you'd soon be hearing actual funeral bells. Victims would first feel their heart racing like a hummingbird's wings, then it would slow down until each beat felt like a sledgehammer in their chest. Their vision would turn green, like looking through emerald glasses. Finally, their heart would just stop, like someone hit the off switch. But in 1775, a doctor named William Withering noticed something odd. People with swollen legs who accidentally ate small amounts of foxglove got better instead of dying. Their swelling went down. Their breathing improved. Somehow, this heart-stopping poison was actually fixing hearts when used in tiny doses. Today, digitalis is one of our most important heart medications. It makes weak hearts pump stronger, and irregular hearts beat steadier. The difference between poison and medicine is literally just a few milligrams. Too little, nothing happens. Too much, you're pushing up daisies. Just right, and it saves your life. Emergency rooms stock it. Cardiologists prescribe it daily. Your grandmother probably takes it for her atrial fibrillation. We turned an instrument of death into an instrument of healing. That green vision thing still happens if you take too much. It's called xanthopsia, and it's how doctors know to dial back the dose.
Bye-bye.
Van Gogh might have had it, which could explain why some of his paintings have that weird yellow-green tint. He was probably taking foxglove for his seizures, so one of history's greatest artists might have painted masterpieces while seeing the world through medieval poison-tinted glasses. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.
I've heard that you should see this. I'm looking at that.
Earth was covered in ice and glaciers.
Oh, really?
Water comes from to become glaciers.
I'm going to say rain.
Rain? Where did the rain come from?
The sky.
Where did the sky come from? Okay, how did the rain get in the sky?
Evaporate from someplace else.
From where?
From the land.
No, the land is frozen.
Oceans. It evaporates up, and then it becomes clouds, and then it goes someplace, and then it rains down, and then it freezes.
Snows down. It snows
down, not
okay.
rains down. Snows down, freezes.
Does it return to the ocean?
Well, it can't because it's frozen.
Thank you. So then what systematically happens to the ocean?
Oh, they got to get straight.
They systematically drain. And as they do that, more and more land masses manifest.
Exposed.
That's correct. Coastlines grow.
People go, hey, this is a good place to build a city. Hey, guys. Hey, y'all.
Before we had, like, advanced climate modeling. So, no doubt, there's no end of cities that just got flooded as we slowly came out of the Ice Age.
Gotcha.
And they had to move inland, right? But that would happen slowly as the water melted once again. Have you ever seen on a map, it might be true elsewhere, but I noticed especially in North America, off the East Coast, if they show the terrain of the bottom of the ocean, there's like what we call the continental shelf, which is the same coastline, it's just pushed out a little further. And then you have a drop off. Okay, when New York, when it used to dump it into the ocean, it wouldn't do it on the shelf. It would take it to the deep part and then drop it out.
Right.
So it goes way down. Okay, so you say, where'd that shelf come from? That was the coastline when the oceans were less. Okay, so you can imagine New York City having been built way off on that edge, you'd be completely underwater now, right? Okay, so the time scale of that is thousands of years. We're now going to have that happen in decades.
Yes, yes we are. So there you go. We'll be calling you, Danny, and all your friends in the Netherlands.
In 50,000 years, when they dig up, what's this city? They call it New York. Yeah. Well, to him, it'd be New Amsterdam.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, the Dutch have a little accent.
All of where you live in this
I
city.
live in Lower
Manhattan. That was New Amsterdam. Yeah, man. Wow. All right, Danny, there you have it. Well, please bring a bucket. Well, we gonna need you. Bring a bucket, brother, because we're in trouble. All right, this is Shane A. McDaniel. He says, hello, Neil. Hello, Chuck. Time dilation discussions usually involve one object moving faster than others to slow down its relative time. Alternatively, can an object somehow move slower than everything else to speed up its relative time? How might it slow down as such?
That implies that you can establish a speed absolutely measured. But all the speeds are relative to one another. So you can't say, hey, this one thing is not moving, everything else is. You're not making an absolute statement there. Right? You could say, I don't think I'm moving, because I'm measuring everybody else to be moving. But what are they saying? They're saying, you're moving by me. Okay.
I can do it from the air.
The whole train. When you're looking out the window.
When you're looking out the window.
Yeah, and you see the train pulling off. Yeah, it's are we moving back?
We're moving backwards. No, the other train.
Right. It's right.
Relative to the other train.
Relative to the other train. So, since all motion is relative, hence the name of the theories of relativity.
Okay.
Since all motion is relative, you cannot declare that you are not in motion and everybody else is.
Gotcha.
Everybody can declare they're not in motion.
Right.
And everybody else is.
So you can declare you're not in motion, but then as soon as you go on the other side, you're like, oh no, I'm in motion.
Exactly. Right. You know how this came up? It came up in a football game. Yeah. I got a text from who's the coach of the Seattle Seahawks? Pete Carroll texted me. He said, Neil, we just had a play where they want to call it against us, where they had what happens if you lateral backward, forward lateral?
That's an illegal forward.
Illegal forward pass, right? Because the quarterback,
the receiver has to be behind the quarterback. You can only go backwards.
Provided the quarterback has crossed the line.
If you're past the line of scrimmage.
Right, but otherwise it's a forward pass.
You can forward.
Okay, so they were in a play where the quarterback, Russell Wilson, he doesn't see an open receiver, so he scrambles.
Right.
He crosses the line of scrimmage. He sees one of his running backs, and he pitches to his running back. Okay, no, sorry, he pitches backwards to his running back. And then he goes down, and the running back gets a first down, and I think they scored on this play. Okay, and the other team said no, that was a forward lateral and illegal. If you go to the videotape, the point of the field where Russell Wilson releases the ball is behind the point on the field where the running back catches the ball. Oh, yeah. From the point of view of the field, right, it is a forward pass. Right. But they were running together. So if relative to one another, they still remained a backwards lateral. Correct. Wow. Correct. Wow. Correct. Wow. It's not their fault they were running faster than the ball sideways motion. Right. Okay? So, in other words, he was running so fast.
That's what happens with them black players. Can't tell where the ball is. Negro is running.
So, he's running so fast that when he throws the ball backwards, right, the ball actually ends up going forward. Okay, correct. Okay, he throws the ball backwards, but he's running so fast that when the guy catches the ball, he's past the point where he was, even though he's behind the whole time. Okay, so I analyzed it and I tweeted back and I said, according to the field, it's a forward pass, but according to the moving frame of the players, it was a legit.
I know you like that conditioning and then making you block with mantra and then hiding the grab completely through the flames. Yeah, I know you love that.
And transfer it into another. And it's a completely legitimate, it's just a different a coordinate system.
Right.
And from the coordinate system of the running players, everything was legit. You should not penalize them.
You know what? I think I have an idea.
So the place, I gave Pete Carroll some extra ammo to make sure it wouldn't get overturned.
That's cool, man.
It's still online.
I think I have an idea.
So that's relativity in a nutshell, right there.
Look them up. Galilean transformation. And we talked about this a little bit.
That would make it better.
You know, you've been on the freeway, and there's always somebody who's racing somebody else.
Always.
And they're darting in and out among the cars.
Right. And I was in there.
Okay, you're going 60 miles an hour, you're going 90 miles an hour.
I'll be right
Okay?
back.
In and out among the cars. However, they're not really going 90 miles an hour.
Oh my god.
Relative to you. They're going 30 miles an hour. Because it's 90 minus 60. So it feels dangerous when you see this. But as long as everybody is just moving at 60 miles an hour, as far as they're concerned, you're standing still and they're driving 30 miles an hour among you.
Right.
So it gets dangerous if you decide to not do 60 miles an hour and just turn the car while it's going by. Then definite accident. And the accident will feel the 90 miles an hour. Because his body is moving now 90 miles an hour, and then it moves 0, and then basically you don't survive. So it's lethally playing.
Steel man.
Jay from State Farm.
It is Musketeers.
No, this would be job for Jake and Flo.
Fix your hairline.
You need Flo from the Progressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Double that up.
Jake and Flo. All right, here we go. This is Karthik. Karthik says, "Hello, Dr. Tyson, Lord Nice. This is Karthik from
Fix your
Berlin,
nutsack.
Germany. If the earliest light from the universe to us is
fix your mouth.
represented by the cosmic microwave background radiation, which is from 380,000 years after the Big Bang.
Yeah.
How do we determine how far back from that point the Big Bang took place? So he's saying, how do you know 380,000 years gave you first light from the source of the light, which would have been the Big Bang?
So where do we get 380,000?
And that's basically
what he's asking. Okay, so a lot of the action took place in the first fractions of a second. There's an excellent book written by Steve Weinberg, brilliant physicist, won the Nobel Prize. He wrote a very successful physics book, small, called The First 3 Minutes.
That's amazing.
And in there, it takes you from the moment of the explosion of the Big Bang to what went on in the universe after 3 minutes. And I turned those first 3 minutes into most of the first chapter of my book, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. Because the first chapter is called In the Beginning. That's the name of the first chapter. So I detail it. So it's
Another book, I believe. That's a chapter. I think there's another book with a chapter that starts in the beginning.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, you keep thinking about that.
Yeah.
You call me when you know.
Yeah. It'll come to me.
That was the old joke when you were a kid. How do you know God was a baseball player?
I don't know how.
He started in the big inning.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you know God wasn't a comedian? That joke.
That was like safe for elementary school joke.
Yeah, that's cool.
So what you do is you create all the physics necessary to give you that cosmic microwave background.
Gotcha.
And once you know how much mass is in the universe, and you ask yourself, what must have been going on in the universe to give us that state where the photons run free and you get the cosmic microwave background?
Right.
Once you do all of this, the time it takes to get to that point turns out to be 380,000 years.
That's amazing.
Right. It's all very well established physics.
And you know what's funny? Right now, there are people hearing this, and they're like, no. It is so counterintuitive, because it's like, oh, no, that's what you believe. And what they don't understand is that we can see the cosmic microwave background.
Yeah.
It's not a belief.
Right.
We can see
Yeah, we measure it.
We measure it.
Yeah. And so we know what matter must be doing in
Right.
order to create that environment.
Exactly.
And we're expanding now. So here's what would have to happen if we were wrong. Somehow the universe was birthed into that state, but with nothing before it. But we can account for that provided there's a universe before it, using known laws of physics as detailed by Steven Weinberg in his book from 1970s. That book came out.
Wow.
And in my book, I give a full exposition of the first moments of the universe. In fact, one of these chairs,
right, one
of these chairs
that were awards to him for writing.
I won for an essay called "In the Beginning," which basically birthed that whole first chapter out of my book.
Look at that! The universe is crowning.
I wonder how obscure that is.
Right back.
No idea. You talk about
No idea.
Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
And most people have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe they'll look it up. It'll be a meme somewhere after somebody will put it out as a meme so that the kids can know the joke that I made.
I don't know nothing about birth and universes. So it's known laws of physics that get us to that point,
Right.
that allow us to conclude how much time before
How to
that.
go back.
How to go back.
Because get to that place, and now you can go back.
Now you go back.
Everything that you know at that place.
Correct.
That's really, God, I love science.
Oh, and you know what else? As you go back, matter's behaving in all these ways under the temperature, pressure, energy, and all of this. You can make predictions in that time that says, 98 out of 100 atoms in the universe should be hydrogen. And that's what we see on the other side of that fence.
Fantastic, man.
Right.
That's
Right. No, it's extraordinary.
Brilliant.
Yes.
brilliant.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
All right.
Well, by the way, that cosmic microwave was predicted. It was predicted by a guy named George Gamow.
George Gamow?
Gamow.
Oh, Gamow.
Well, it ends in a W, but it's Russian, so it's a V sound.
That's it,
Gamow.
Gamow.
He was on a paper with two or three other authors,
Right.
where they said if the universe began with an explosion, knowing what we know about quantum physics and matter and energy and temperature and time, what should have happened? It would expand, it would begin to cool, the energy would become matter, the matter would coalesce, and at this point, light should escape. We should look out into the universe for a universe at a temperature of about 5 degrees. And so we looked, and we found a universe that was 3 degrees.
Yes.
It was so off. So Rich Scott, a friend of our show, he characterized this prediction. He said, it's like saying that a 50-foot flying saucer, predicting a 50-foot flying saucer was going to land on the lawn of the White House, but it was a 30-foot flying saucer.
That's good.
Right? So the fundamentals of the prediction are really right, and the details are something that will come out later.
Wow.
So we're good back there. That's all. By the way, if one day we need to sort of rethink the Big Bang, it would not be to discard what works. It would be to see that the Big Bang fits into an even larger picture of the universe.
Right.
And the press is always trying to ditch the Big Bang.
Right.
They're always pooping on the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Because they think we're just making stuff up.
Yeah, because it's not going to be one of these things where it's just like, oh, we were just completely wrong, and now that's not a thing. It's like, oh, no.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Right, no. It's like...
It happened before the year 1600.
Right.
But after then, we test everything, and it doesn't happen that way.
It'll be a further explanation of what we already know.
It'll be a deeper understanding of what we already know.
Right.
Hey, Star Talk fans. I don't know if you know this, but the audio version of the podcast actually posts a week in advance of the video version. And you can get that at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and most other podcast outlets that are out there. Multiple ways to ingest all that is cosmic on Star Talk. Okay, let's do a quick light.
God damn it, where's my
This is Mo Fury. He says, hi, Dr.
What's your name,
Tyson.
Mo?
Mo.
Cool. Love that.
I gotta go get a fucking battery.
He's a Marvel character. He's the less menacing brother of Nick Fury. I'm Mo Fury. Hey, Thor, what's your problem? It's me, Mo Fury. Captain America. Hey, you got an attitude or something? I don't know what your problem is. It's me, Mo. Okay, I don't have an eye patch. I wear glasses. All right. He says, hey, Dr. Tyson, Baron Nice, okay? I live on a pale blue dot in Tennessee called Nashville. I don't know what that means. And such as I dream about exploring the cosmos. Let's say we have one world war in the next century or two. Well, this is off to a positive start.
I know, right? Right.
Given that, do you believe humanity will be gallivanting around the solar system by then? I don't mean governments. I'm talking about normal working class people who live and work all over the system, like the stories in The Expanse. Great show. Thank you, Mo. Sans the spherical wormholes, of course.
Why does this have to do with another world war?
Would we be able to escape? Because regular people have the capability of exiting this planet for another destination.
If regular people have that capacity, so does the military, who might be chasing your ass if you're the enemy. Okay? I will answer this with a quote from Albert Einstein.
Okay.
If I may.
Please do.
I do not know how World War III will be fought, but I know that World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.
Ooh. Oh, that is so disturbing. Oh my God, that sent chills down my spine because that just says everything.
Says everything about everything.
Says everything about everything.
Yes.
Like,
we're done there.
That's it.
That's it.
That's a mic drop and a half.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they had mics back then.
If they had mics, which were made out of sticks. Take a stick and put a bunch of dead leaves on top. Is this thing on? You tap the dead leaves.
Okay. You're slipping another. What do you got?
All right, here we go. Stephen Banker says, hi guys, question about time. Is it possible to measure a length of time shorter than the steposecond or zeptosecond? Zeptosecond. I can't say it. Zeptosecond. Okay. If so, can we measure infinitely small spans of time? How would we have ever gotten to the point in time if there were possibly an infinite number of moments between the Big Bang and now? Wow, this guy, I love you, man, because you...
Okay, there's a little bit of Zeno's paradox in there, which is not a thing.
And this dude smokes weed, okay? I'll tell you, Stephen Banker, that's a weed question right there. That's a weed question.
Okay, all right. I didn't know that's a category of question. So...
I love it.
A couple of points there.
Right.
There's something called the Planck length.
Okay.
The Planck length is the smallest unit of space within which no laws of physics have any meaning. Okay? So in quantum physics, space is quantized by these little units of space.
Okay.
Okay? So the time it takes light to cross a Planck length, it seems to me, would be the shortest unit of time, because there's nothing that can take place inside of a Planck length.
Ooh, lovely.
Because that is the pixels of life.
So it's like you're traveling in between the actual pixels that make up the picture itself.
Yes, yes. So you go pixel to pixel, but there's nothing in the pixel for you, right? Because a pixel is just, there's no more detail there for you.
Got it.
So that would be the shortest unit of time possible. Anything shorter than that, I don't know that you could measure it, nor would there be anything there to measure.
Right. So there's no medium there.
No, nothing.
There's nothing there to for you to put any kind of ruler up to and say, this is where we are, this is where we've gone.
Because the units smaller than that have no meaning.
Right. Doesn't make
in the quantum universe.
In the quantum universe, that's no.
By the way, general relativity requires space to be continuous and not quantum. If you want to marry general relativity and quantum physics, you need somebody's got to be there for the ceremony, for the shotgun marriage. Because the shotgun marriage was taking place in the early universe, because quantum physics is the physics of the small, general relativity is the large-scale universe. When the universe was small, this quantum phenomenon influencing the entire universe. Because the universe at one time was small. Okay, so let's say you could divide time infinitely small. Zeno's paradox is, you know Zeno's paradox?
I don't.
You don't know Zeno's paradox? Okay, you have a destination. Well, you got to travel half that far. Now, with what's left over, you got to travel half that far. What's left? You got to travel half that far.
We there yet?
So you got to travel half that far. Okay,
right.
You keep doing this.
You're never getting there.
Never getting there.
You're never ever going to get
there. But you end up getting there.
Right.
So that's Zeno's paradox.
Yeah.
Okay. So we would learn how to solve this mathematically.
This carbon copy.
It's because the sum of those halves.
No.
Even though there's an infinite number of them, They sum to a finite answer in a finite amount of time.
I gotta go get a battery real quick. Beat my ass. You can take this fucking dub. You're so lucky I have to go get a fucking battery. You son of a bitch. I should fucking close the app.
It can contain the internet.
Indeed it does. And it does. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so he shouldn't worry about that. That part of
the question. Yeah.
Okay, last one.
All right, here's the last one. Here we go.
Last one.
Ali Khan Hemraj. Ali Khan Hemraj. Okay? Your new name is Al. Okay? This from Al. Al says.
Al says you renaming people for your own convenience.
What can I say, man? I hope I got your name right, buddy. Or person. Hello, Dr. Tyson, Lord Nice. I was wanting your thoughts on if transporter, like in Star Trek, could one day just be possible. And P.S. Dr. Tyson, I saw you in an episode of Dama. What's
You know what Dama is?
what's that?
Dama is from Scooby-Doo.
I know. Oh, that
The woman in Scooby-Doo named Dama,
Yeah.
had her own show on HBO.
Get out.
And she's in high school. The dog doesn't exist yet, and it's really sort of the birth of
the Mystery Machine.
It's the roots of the origins.
Oh, wow.
Dama. Yes, I had a brief cameo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I think I was a teacher. I forgot exactly what. It has to make. If I'm going to be a cameo, it's got to make some sense, right? I'm not going to be like
You're not going to be a drug dealer. What's up, Dama? What you need today, girl?
It's got to make some philosophical sense that I am in the program. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So anyway, here's the deal. Transporters, which break down your molecules inside of a machine that remembers the imprint of your molecular structure in every single detail, then turns that into a beam of energy, transports it someplace else, shines that beam of energy to another place where it then reconfigures all of those molecules in the same configuration so they, bang, now you have been reassembled molecule by molecule. Could that one day be possible?
Okay, I said I'd give a soundbite answer. It's going to be hard.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. In 1900, New York City, there were horses everywhere.
Yes, there were.
And where you have horses, you have manure.
No, that's for sure.
I read, I have found this hard to believe, but maybe it's right. I read, on average, a horse poops 30 pounds of manure a day. Woo! In the streets. Flies are attracted to it.
Oh, God.
Back then, there were no supermarkets. People sold their goods on the street, on street carts, including fish. And so it was nasty.
That's nasty.
Unsanitary.
Terrible.
And people trying to find solutions to this. You give horses some different kind of feed so there's less poop. Do you put something in the feed so the flies don't want to reproduce in it? Do you, like, what do you do?
Right.
And how do you cart away the poop? Well, you got to bring in other horses and put it in a wagon that they drag out, but then they're pooping while they're dragging out the poop that they're taking out of the thing. Okay?
This is poopalicious.
So how do you solve this problem? You invent the car.
There you go.
Okay?
Right.
The car solved that problem.
Right.
I assert that the transporter, as brilliant an idea as that was, which allowed the original series to not have to land rockets on surfaces, which would have been a whole overhead of special effects. So they said, we need another way to do this.
It also ruins most of the storylines.
No, you need a place to put your rocket. You know, right? And you can't beam into a place to get the job done.
Yeah, you can't get the job. Yeah, you got to land.
You got to land and get out of the rocket.
Right.
Okay.
That sucks.
So it was a brilliant visual mechanism vocabulary for the storytelling. Okay. I'm thinking by then, no, you won't get transported. We just open a wormhole.
Oh, there you go.
You step through. Now you're on a You're not disassemble and reassemble,
right?
With the risk that maybe something goes wrong.
Using the structure of quantized space.
Thank you. There it is. And so any place you would otherwise beam, you just simply open the wormhole and step through. So I think that, like the car solved the poop problem, wormholes will solve the transporter problem.
Let me tell you something. That is a much better answer than I ever thought you would give. I think that's a really good answer.
And so ends the next episode of Star Talk Cosmic Query, Grab Bag Edition, which Chuck still keeps calling
Galactic Gumbo.
All right. Always good to have you, Chuck.
Always a pleasure.
All right. Neil deGrasse Tyson, we're out of time. As always, keep looking up. Particle physics today.
There's tremendous progress being made. It's such an exciting time in fundamental physics. Not only particle physics, but we said gravitational astronomy, the exploration of the force of gravity, black holes, quantum information, quantum computing, and all sorts of all that stuff is to me utterly fascinating. I think for the first time, it's probably true to say in particle physics, we don't know if there's anything else just around the corner, which is bad. But it's also, it is our duty to find things out about nature.
This is Star Talk. Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist, and today we are featuring my exclusive one-on-one interview with my friend and colleague from across the pond, Brian Cox. Brian, welcome!
Oh, it's great to be back.
Oh my gosh! Oh, it's been too long.
Yeah, and we don't usually get to do it in person. It's usually over Zoom or something.
Right. Let's get some of your biography out there for stateside people who might not fully know who you are. You cut your teeth as a particle physicist, is that correct?
Yeah, initially. I mean, actually, my degree is at the University of Manchester, by the way, in the UK. I've never left. So I started there doing my undergraduate degree, postgraduate.
What do they call you there now? You are Professor of Particle Physics at the University of Manchester.
Yeah.
And Royal Society, as in the Royal Society of London?
Yeah.
Royal Society Professor of Public Engagement in Science.
Yeah.
So we're kindred souls across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you've never left. Is that because they wanted you so badly, or that no one else wanted you?
Yeah, or the latter. But I started, it was actually physics with astrophysics, my degree. So I did a degree in physics with astrophysics. Then PhD in particle physics, although the first year I was working on supernova neutrinos. So I was crossing over astro-particle physics, as we would call it. Then I got into particle physics, went to the DAISY laboratory in Hamburg, and worked on electron-proton collisions, so-called diffractive scattering.
I've seen DAISY online. I've seen DAISY simulations of things. They simulate like colliding black holes and things. Fascinating. DAISY.
DESY, the Deutsche
DESY.
Synchrotron.
Yeah, they have a public-facing platform.
See, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because the accelerator is no longer operational there.
Okay.
So, but it's a huge lab in Hamburg.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my PhD there. That's in particle physics. Then moved to Fermilab in Chicago for a while, and then to CERN when we were building a Large Hadron Collider. And then, but I've always
CERN in Switzerland.
Yeah, in Geneva.
And remind me, that's the European Center for Nuclear
Research. Yeah.
Acronym, French acronym.
Yeah, because it was founded in the 1950s, and at the time, so it was what part of the reconstruction of Europe really after the war. So it was that lab was founded, I think it was 1954, 1953, and so was nuclear physics at the time. There wasn't really such a thing as particle physics, I suppose, at the time. And now it's by far the world's largest accelerator, particle physics lab.
Yeah, I mean the center of mass of that whole world left the United States when we stopped funding our supercollider.
The SSC in Texas.
Yeah.
SSC,
Superconducting Super Collider. Yeah, I would have called it the Super Duper Collider. That might have kept its funding.
Yeah.
At that point. But so Europe still leads the world in nuclear particle research.
It's a very international lab. I mean, it is the world's collider.
Mm-hmm.
So although it's based in Switzerland and France, I would say it's a world lab.
Okay, that's very diplomatic of you.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, the US have a tremendous presence there, for example.
While you're saying all this to me, you're not describing this branch of your life as a musician. So just briefly remind me of that.
Yeah, so when I was 18, traditionally you would go to university there, start a physics degree. But I didn't, because I was in a rock band, that I joined just before
I'm sure your parents loved that.
They did actually. They loved it.
I could go to college and major in physics, or continue with my band.
Oh, But do you have that thing like a gap year, we call it, where you say, well, I'm going to take a year off the studies before I go to college or university? And so I said that. I said, I'm going to be in this band and I'm just going to do it for a year and then I'll go and do physics. But then we got a record deal, a big record deal with A&M Records. This is in 1986, 1987, it's a long time ago. A big record deal. And so I came to Los Angeles and recorded an album with actually produced by Larry Clyde.
Look at the little quitter boy who quit. Little quitter boy. No, you're a little quitter boy. You quit. That's
and it came up and got quite popular again. So I did Glastonbury this year with the band. Wait, that's that huge, right? Yeah, big festival. Yeah. That's that huge, any huge scene of musicians in the UK is at that location. Well, it's probably the biggest festival in the world. I would imagine. I would say it's huge. So you and Brandon. No, we have to. He did it the other way around. He said he got. It's okay, yeah, he got three favors and then finished in astrophysics. Yeah. Okay.
Brian May, the guitarist, good food. Yeah. Let's pick up some of the physics. We are Las Vegas.
there we go. You little quitter boy. Little quitter. Little Grimson.
I mean, any scientist is skeptic, but problem
little quitter boy.
When the world does weird things.
Don't think I forgot.
Put them in check. Somebody's got to show up at the scene and say, no, that's not how that works. Or the laws of physics prevent that. Or you've had to do this in the UK, right?
Now that I got a fresh battery, you fucked up. You fucked. And I went to a vape shop and they had the battery I've been looking for that holds two 1 gram carts. And you can switch in between them or hit them both at the same time. Nah, you fucked up. You fucked up, pal.
In that part of my career, I didn't want to know about anything else other than doing research. That's all.
Just you wait till I screw these bad boys in.
I can't remember what it
Well,
was.
I may have one card.
Regular funding.
But just you wait until I screw this bad boy in.
When government support, in particular for research, dipped. And so I got involved in trying
You're
to
gonna wish your pee-pee was tucked.
We realised, I mean, it's kind of obvious, I suppose, but we realised that one of the reasons, talking to government, that they had cut the research budget was that they didn't think anyone cared. So they thought it was a simple thing to
democracy.
do. You could just...
not the double barrel.
As a community, we were we learned again, we've learned over the years, but we learned again that popular support for what we do is important. And where does the support come from? It comes from understanding. And there are many reasons, by the way, why talking to people who are not in science about what we're doing as scientists is important. One of them, of course, is just purely democratizing knowledge. taxpayers fund at least in part what we do, and therefore they have a right to know. So there's that level. But on the other level, which I think you're suggesting as well, what science...
I already
does,
did, you fucking weenie, but you're scared and you're avoiding it.
The facts. So it's not about knowing the universe.
Yeah, you are. For example, there's a second one for the people in the back.
Later, actually, does that mean it had a finite origin in time in the fact that it was out? Anyway, but it's not.
You smell like Fritos.
Yeah, it's not about knowing facts so much as understanding something about the process by which we acquire reliable knowledge about the world. And science is the process.
Houston, we might have a problem.
And so I think that
it may be unique in that.
It doesn't want to close on my card.
In the sense that nature is there, whether the job of the scientist is to find out how it works. And of course,
I don't even know what that means.
Famously said that it doesn't care who you are, or what your opinion is, or how popular you are, or how many votes you've got, or anything, how much money you've got. It just doesn't care.
No,
so in that sense, I think
I'm not fruity enough.
Because the standard by which your opinion is judged is external to us. It's nothing to do with humanity.
Nature is the ultimate judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah. So I think I became involved.
That's actually crazy. My cards are too big for this.
Make sure that people understood what we did and what the value of it is. And then that branch, that became bigger and bigger in my
I might just take the mouthpiece off.
And television and live shows and all sorts of things. But it came from that. I wasn't interested
I'm going to use my teeth.
in communicating science. I was just interested in doing it for a very long time.
So you had
it does fit without the fucking mouthpiece on. I'm sick.
Since that, I think... actually, Feynman again said it's a very brilliant essay that anyone can download from 1955, I think it is, called The Value of Science.
I'm
it's just
sick.
It's there, it's on Caltech's archive, I think.
I'm gonna have to...
He says that it is our duty as scientists, our duty, knowing the great value of...
Oh my gosh, see, now he's running away.
Philosophy of ignorance, which is a beautiful, just merely satisfactory, it's philosophy of ignorance. We start out from not knowing. And he said the great value of the satisfactory philosophy of ignorance, the great value of freedom of thought, to proclaim that freedom and to try to protect it for all coming generations, he says at the end. So, but I like the framing. It is our duty as scientists to do that, as well as do our job, which is to find things out about nature.
About the natural world. And in this conference, I am to bestow upon you the Richard Dawkins Award for Science and Reason. Bestow, yes. The Richard Dawkins Award is something I won last year, and I was called back in to bestow it upon you.
It's a great honor.
It will be a delight for me. It takes place tonight.
Yeah.
I look forward to that. And just the idea that science and reason is something, maybe it's sad that it's something that needs to be rewarded, because it's one of these awards that if the world functioned just right, you wouldn't need it.
And also, although I said, as Feynman has said, it's in a sense our duty as scientists, it is also true that not all scientists want to do that or feel comfortable with it. As I said, I didn't want to do it initially. Now I very much enjoy it and think it's very important. But so we don't need everybody to do it, but some people will, and that's important.
Right.
Discussing big ideas with experts from physicists and biologists to entertainers and politicians is our favourite way to critically explore the world around us. And now, with SpaceX's Starship on track to ramp up its launches, Elon Musk is turning visionary ideas into real progress. However, since his cabinet appointment in Trump's administration, many are wondering about Musk's conflicts of interest, his influence on policies, and more. So tracking developments through reliable sources these next 4 years is absolutely essential, something our long-term partners at Ground News simplify. They're an app and website founded by a former NASA engineer who brought the same level of precision she needed up in space to how we consume information here on Earth. Access every perspective shaping a story with data on how credible their reporting actually is. Or burst your media bubble and find important angles impacting space and beyond you might have otherwise missed. With science increasingly becoming a political talking point these days, access to a platform designed to bring clarity to even the most polarizing topics has never been more important. So head to ground.news/StarTalk or scan the QR code to subscribe to Ground News today. We're giving our viewers 40% off their top-tier Vantage plan, knocking the price down to $5 a month. The decisions made in the coming years could profoundly shape the future of space exploration and more, so we really can't recommend enough finding clarity through Ground News. Now, let's get back to the show.
So, let's talk physics. Take me to the frontier of particle physics today. What's going on at CERN now that the Higgs boson is discovered and the Nobel Prizes were granted? What are they doing now?
Well,
Did they just close shop and go home?
No. I mean, what particle physics is, because we're talking about quantum mechanics, basically, it's statistical in the sense that you collide, what we do there is collide protons together at high energy. And we collide a lot of protons together at high energy.
Alright, I've doctored it, I've finished it, I took the fucking tip off.
So they go to
My God.
kilometers, it's 20 kilometers, and that's the number of yes. So around that rate,
Oh my God.
11,000 times a second. So that's how fast they go.
That's fast.
So that's
You're not ready.
99,999%.
Yeah, that gives me time to get geeked.
Granted them energy so that you collide.
Oh, yeah, it shouldn't take more than 10 seconds.
You're basically deconstructing nature to see what residue comes out of it. When I think of doing that for anything else, it's going to break, right? I don't take chairs and slam them together and still have chairs. I have a pile of kindling, okay? So who ever thought it was a good idea to smash nature into itself?
Well, I suppose Rutherford initially. So we go back to Manchester at the turn of the 20th century, and Rutherford was using radioactive decay to essentially produce the particles. I mean, it's just the decay of atomic nuclei naturally happens to produce high energy particles, which he then fired into gold foil and bounced them off the foil. In doing that, he discovered the atomic nucleus. So one way to think about particle physics is that when you collide things together, what are you doing? You're really building a microscope. One way to think of it is that the higher the energy of the collision, the faster these things are traveling, the smaller the object you can see. So we were talking about seeing for the first time in those experiments the atomic nucleus. You move forward to the ultimately through the 50s, when we have higher and higher energy collisions, you start seeing that the nucleus is made of protons and neutrons, and then you start seeing in the 50s and 60s that the protons and neutrons are made of smaller things called quarks, and so we discover those. We've not discovered anything smaller than that, by the way.
Is it because you don't have enough energy to bust up a quark?
Yes, or to resolve what's
No,
inside it.
I'll never be ready to lose. You're the
Because
faggot.
right now, the inventory of fundamental particles includes quarks.
Yeah.
So somebody saying that's fundamental, which sounds a little like the Greeks saying atoms.
That was
are
it powering
fundamental.
off.
There won't be fundamental. You're absolutely right. But,
No, it's powered on.
Point blank, from the point of view
I
of
don't-
the energies that we can generate today. But that's
No, I
one
can.
side of particle physics. So we've been exploring the structure of matter, which is historically, it goes back to Rutherford, I suppose.
And again, you have confidence that when you break matter apart, you didn't break the matter. You're just...
This wasn't on the box, but I figured out how to
Really,
look
I
at the
think the way to
battery
think about
percentage.
it, you think about what a collision is.
Look at
let's say
this
you
shit.
collide, as we did in my PhD, electrons.
If it didn't have this shit,
So
it would just look like a vape.
And a proton beam, and you smash them into each other. What's actually happening? What's actually happening is one way that the collision can happen is that the electron can emit a photon, which is a particle of light, and the particle of light goes and it hits the photon and the proton. Now the wavelength of that light, which is telling you how small a thing you can see, is proportional to the energy of the thing. That's how hard we're smashing things together. So the faster you smash them together, so the faster you smash together, the higher the energy, the smaller the wavelength, the smaller.
I am not goofy.
So that's a way.
I am a champion. I am a champion.
I'm just thinking, if I were a proton, I wouldn't want to be busted apart into quarks. That would not be a nice day.
Oh, in some ways, I suppose it's like having. Kind of like having an X-ray, I suppose, isn't it? Oh, you're right, though. You hit them hard enough and they fall to bits, but that would be the same for you. So, but we would try not to hit you that hard.
The bits
oh my God, this is such a good cart. I'm so happy.
Right.
But the other way to think about particle physics, which is, I think, so you say the Higgs particle.
Oh my Jesus.
You're not smashing.
I mean, good battery.
Finding a Higgs particle buried in there somewhere.
Fall right into my trap. Fall right into my trap. Fall right into my. Fall right into. Fall right in. Fall right into my trap. Fall right into my trap.
So it also says that if we have loads of energy, then we can make new particles.
I'm 2 coffees deep, a fresh car, and a new battery in. You're about to get crazy, Nomad.
Yeah. So we have.
I don't know if you've ever seen this side.
Together, these energies. Plenty of energy there.
Ooh, the type of nomad that just wastes his subs for fun.
Very heavy particle as well, far more massive than the proton. So that's, I suppose, the way to think about trying to manufacture Higgs particles.
Get out of here.
You need enough energy to make.
Psych. Put up the wall, and then
more massive particles than would otherwise be available.
Yeah, and the other thing to say, so get a complete picture, is these very massive things like Higgs particles. They have a very short lifetime. So you make them and they decay away into lighter particles very, very fast. So you don't see the Higgs particles. What you see are the debris from the decay of the Higgs particle. And the challenge of particle physics is to detect all those bits that came off, basically. And by the way, you also have the bits of the protons that all got smashed up as well, so it's a big mess. And we have more than...
Caught you.
It's very hard because you don't only have one proton collision. We send the particles around in little bunches, basically. So you can get...
I love to live on the wild side.
At the same time, only one of them, on a very good day, will be an interesting one.
You like that aura farming?
So you've got to sift through all this, which is the difficulty, or the professional challenge, let's say, of particle physics.
With that reasoning, there's always some next energy level that we haven't physics.
Yes.
Where so, more and interesting physics can reveal itself.
And this is where it gets challenging at the moment, because the so-called standard model Higgs particle, and I should just say for a minute, that thing exists as a thing in the 1960s by Peter Higgs.
No, I don't.
And
I'm going to show you something.
A suggestion, a theory, a guess, let's say at the time, mathematically motivated. Almost purely, by the way, mathematically motivated.
Second trap?
Of how things get mass in the universe.
Third trap?
Fundamental level.
Fourth trap?
Quarks, and
fifth trap?
These very heavy things called the W and Z bosons. How those things got mass. And so it was a mathematical.
You think that little rock is going to stop me? You think that dance is going to stop me?
The Higgs boson. But there could be much more complicated versions.
Nope.
And so we knew that if we collided protons together at the energies that we generate at the Large Hadron Collider.
Oh yeah, that wall gets a combo if you land it right.
The Higgs boson and prove this theory to be correct. Or we knew that if it wasn't there, we would see something else. So we had a very clear idea from experiment and theory that we were going to discover something with that machine. And you don't know what it is, but it turned out it was the simplest thing. It was this thing that Peter Higgs had dreamt up all those years ago, which is astonishing, by the way, 50 years after the prediction. And there's a great essay you might know by Eugene Bigner called The Unreasonable Effectiveness of Mathematics in Physical Sciences. Yeah. I think that's one of the best examples. It's an astonishing achievement that we got it right. And so we discovered the Higgs boson.
The precision on that, the Bigner's point in that paper, it's not that math in a vacuum, no pun intended, makes discoveries. It's the mathematical.
I remember how it combos now.
Of a physical idea, and then you pursue the math
You can catch them off of air combos with
it
it.
applies to the universe, but only if the physical idea has captured reality in some fundamental way.
Although it was, I think, it was a very
Sakan and Ukan.
became the standard model of
Suck on these nuts.
Ideas of
You kinda like it.
ideas, which really do have mathematical foundations.
Thank you, Sakan and Ukan.
I think built into that model.
And that would be the pure mathematical. See, my people in astrophysics, we have enough embarrassing historical examples of chasing.
Everyone needs to watch One Piece. No one needs to watch One Piece.
Look at Kepler.
I think the genius of Kepler is that he had these platonic solids. And
I was in the group chat.
The pyramid and the cube and the.
He said, Isaiah needs to watch One Piece. Eye rolling emoji. Fuck you. There's more than One Piece out there. They're lying. It's a conspiracy.
Divine and perfect, and these solids are perfect.
The messenger one.
So it must be a connection. Yeah, he spent 10 years looking at it.
Yeah, but then
he rejected it.
You say you need to watch One Piece.
Which are indicative of the very beautiful thing, which is Newton's law
I
of
know,
gravitation.
because he's gay.
Yeah.
And so there's a beauty underlying it.
But only after
Yeah,
he had
One
to
Piece is gay.
scrap this other beauty that he had to.
Holy shit, you might not be
That's
gay.
why we step lightly when someone says, I have this beautiful idea. Yeah, okay, let's hear it.
But it is true that, and I think it's one of the great mysteries. There is.
Yeah, I bet you he doesn't know that.
Einstein's theory of general relativity is another example, where quest for simplicity and beauty and elegance, which is
Yeah, shut the fuck up, pussy.
has led to very, very precise.
I can't find your name.
CERN,
Oh, there it
which
is.
has the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, discovered the Higgs boson. If you're going to discover more,
Blasphemy.
you have to keep sort of upgrading the system.
Oh, you
as
know
the
who you
LHC
could get
was
smacked up on by?
so that you can ever
Nah.
greater force.
Is he gonna do him like that?
So
He might do him like that,
increase the
guys.
energy of the LHC very easily. So, or even easily, or we can't really.
At all,
So
yeah.
that would be a major change to the machine. But what we can do and are doing is so-called high luminosity upgrades, which means you collide more protons together. And the thing about
so then you win on the statistics of
No Team Taka Ultimate,
quantum
crazy.
mechanics, and so things happen statistically. So it's one in, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, 1 in 10 billion collisions you'll produce something interesting, a Higgs, less than that. But so when giving yourself more collisions gives you more chance to discover new particles, and it gives you more particles like Higgs bosons to explore.
If you get a Higgs particle after however many collisions, and that's kind of rare, if you have more collisions, you'll get more hits to improve your statistics.
One Piece
What the hell
is
did he say?
gay, homo.
But then there could be a reaction that's even rarer to manifest than the Higgs.
Yes.
And if your sample wasn't large enough, you would just never go there.
Yes, you wouldn't see it. If you just made one thing, one particle, whatever it is, the Higgs prime, whatever. If you made one of those, then you wouldn't see it if you made one.
That's not cool.
Superhero nemesis. I'm Higgs prime. I come to.
But by the way, and we do look for those things. The Z prime, the Z boson, we look for the Z prime, because they can be signatures of extra dimensions in the universe, by the way, so we look for this stuff. But
30? Holy
if something's
shit.
very, very rare, then you won't really see it. If you just made one or two of them, you need to make hundreds or thousands or whatever it is to see them.
Like, how many people have to live in a city before you stumble on someone who's 7 feet tall?
Yeah.
That's
So
statistically,
Next to be touched.
you need possibly millions.
Yeah.
So the upgrades are the upgrades that we can do, and you have to upgrade the detectors, the cameras that we use, as well as the machine.
Okay, so you kept the same hole in the ground.
Yeah, because we don't want to dig another one of those, or change all the magnets around, which are very
Does
expensive.
that hole go through more than one country, or is it all
Yeah, it's
contained in
the
Switzerland?
Crown Centre, so.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, most of it's in France, actually.
Oh, didn't
It's,
know that.
only a little bit of it's in Switzerland.
Okay.
So that's one thing, and the other thing is this Higgs that we discovered. The question still remains: is it the simplest one, the standard model Higgs, or is it something more complicated. How does it behave? So the analogy in planetary science would be, here we discovered the moon. And so you go, great. Then you would like to know about the moon. You don't want to just say, we've discovered this moon, it's a dot. That's fine. As you said, they're interesting.
What characterizes?
Yeah, so for that, you need a lot of them to observe. So it's exciting, and it's challenging because I think for the first time, it's probably true to say in particle physics, we don't know if there's anything else just around the corner, which is bad, but it's also, I suppose it's just science. I mean, ultimately, it's neither bad nor good. It's the way nature is.
That's what triggers whatever next round of physics is complete.
Yeah.
You get those people that show up and say there's nothing left in physics to discover.
Well,
they show up every few decades.
So utterly wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, shit too.
I mean,
no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
It's such an exciting time.
Oh, no, you didn't.
At the moment.
What did you sound like?
Not only particle physics, but instead gravitation.
Oh, no, you didn't.
The exploration of the force of
Yeah,
gravity,
you sound like that.
black holes, quantum information, which is related to quantum computing and all sorts of, all that stuff is to me utterly fascinating. There's some really interesting stuff. I read some stuff the other day which I don't fully understand actually. Some of the progress in string theory. It's interesting because, just as an aside, it's linking. It seems to me it's linking one of the great mysteries, which is the so-called cosmological constant. So the fact that we observe that the universe is accelerating in its expansion.
And Nobel Prize has been given for the observation, not for the understanding. Yes.
Yeah. There's a friend of mine who, by the way, didn't believe.
What did you do on my lighter?
He didn't believe it when he saw it because it wasn't in the air. This idea. He was looking at light from supernova.
Right.
You're a mean one,
I'm
Mr. Grinch.
With Brian Schmidt.
Yeah.
I'm like very minor author. You got to scroll down and then like my name.
Yeah.
But it was analysis of high redshift supernova.
Yeah.
And I totally enjoyed that work. But he obviously went on and made an entire sort of branch of his career on it.
So there's this remarkable idea which comes from that, which is in Einstein's theory. This idea that you can have a kind of
look at you.
Let's say, or a thing, whatever it is.
I'm a bubble boy. I'm blowing bubbles like SpongeBob.
Which is so that's there and it's observed. It's one of the great mysteries because I think it's the smallest number in all of physics. Like what is it? It's something like a 10 to the power minus 122 or something in appropriate units, right? Which is absolutely ridiculous. So it's a tiny, 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 tiny thing that's causing this rate of expansion. But it's not zero. And so the question becomes, why is it tiny?
Why is it tiny and not zero?
Yeah. And so, because if it were even slightly bigger, we wouldn't be here. The universe would have been blown apart. So it seems very unusual. But I saw the other week, or the other day actually, that there's some research that's linking that in the framework of the string theory, or M theory, to dark matter. So
Thank you, Yagara.
There's a kind of an idea that if you fix that, you get a prediction out that there should be dark matter, but it turns out it's to do with extra dimensions and gravitons in extra dimensions and things. So it's quite interesting. So I think there are some very interesting areas of string theory where progress is being made quite remarkable.
Do string theorists need a fuller or better inventory of particles? So, for example, are we still looking for a graviton? Are we still looking for, you shake a stick and there's a physicist proposing a hypothetical particle to explain dark matter, to explain.
Wouldn't it be cool if the dark matter was related to graviton, which is this is not my field. I only heard of it the other day, but it sounded interesting. It just shows.
Do we have a new comeback king?
So, to go back to LHC, we have the Higgs particle, as you said. We had expected, I would say most particle physicists expected there would be other particles discovered. There's a particular
in that same experiment.
Yeah.
Can a combo? Yes, you can.
Which motivated by string theory a long time ago, of supersymmetry, which is a property of the universe. We've
been around for many decades.
Yeah, and it came initially from either from string theory or from some other physics that got incorporated in. I can't remember historically which way it came, but it essentially predicts that there are
Air combos? Yes, you do.
that we see, fundamental particles of this energy. So we and they would have been great candidates for dark matter, by the way, which is an astrophysical discovery. So we should say, I suppose, the one sentence description of dark matter is that we see the universe. There's far much more matter in the universe than we can see.
See,
a little too late.
I would say there's far. It's not dark matter. It's dark gravity.
Well,
you say matter. We don't know what it is.
Well, it's true. So you see it through its gravitation.
So it's dark gravity.
Yeah.
We don't.
Okay.
Headlines say, oh,
you're not being very nice.
Let's abandon our ideas of dark matter. Well, if it's not matter, it's still there. Okay, it's misnamed.
Yes, I see what you mean. I mean, that's a cool newspaper, by the way, that would have a headline like that.
That goes there at all.
It's usually about a football player, so I'm on board with that newspaper.
Yeah, I'm saying, if we don't know what it is, we have no business calling it matter at all.
So the thing to say, though,
call
is
it dark gravity.
The best...
Which sounds cool.
So you build models, and it is true that the best model that fits all the data, which is not just the way that galaxies rotate and collide, and the way that galaxies lens light and all those things, but also the cosmic microwave background radiation, which is the oldest light in the universe, and how that works, and how the ripples, the sound waves went through the early universe, and all that. You put it all together, and it fits if you have a light-ish particle that does not interact with light.
Oh.
So this would be another category of particle in the particle soup.
Yeah. So
that has gravity but doesn't interact with electromagnetically, only very weakly. And so it's all right.
Yeah. So that's a model, though. You're right. So that's a model, which is kind of, I would say, the baseline model.
Yeah, people assume that, and I don't have a problem with it. But if anything happens to that model, it gets shown it can't be true. People are like, oh, then there is no dark matter. No, there's still dark. There's a measurement in the universe.
Yeah,
we just misnamed it.
Yeah, I agree. The measurement is just galaxies spin round too fast.
Too fast.
Or the way they collide, and so on. There's quite a lot of independent measurements of this thing.
So tell me about graviton. I mean, is that a real particle?
I think
yeah. I'm Lord. You're Lord. Yeah, you're Lord.
The base theory. I think the reason I'm careful is because there's some...
No.
I think space-times are real.
No.
Generally, most people would say quantum mechanics is underlining. And that if you have an interaction...
In other words, quantum physics is foundational
to
the universe in ways that even general relativity would not be.
Yeah, so we could talk about this later, but the idea that space and space-time emerge from a quantum is very fashionable at the moment. Partly because of the study of black holes, so we can talk about that. So given that, then you... so I should say, just for people...
I want to be a cowboy, baby.
The electromagnetic force.
I want to be a cowboy,
baby. Together they repel and so on. So what's happening there?
Isaiah's a cowboy, baby.
Everybody knows the North Pole together and they repel. So what's happening? In particle physics terms, you picture that as the exchange of a photon. There's a particle of light, goes from one particle to the other, and essentially carries the force. So that's what our particle physicists would picture a...
No, you're a liar.
Have we successfully applied that?
You're lucky it wasn't in tournament.
But you
didn't see that champion.
No.
The very strong... I suppose, I'm trying to find the right word for it. I think that's why I said conviction. It's almost, I don't know of any physicist who would disagree with this.
Because if you can't fold it into the quantum world, you don't really have a right to start looking for a graviton. Because you're going to say the graviton is the mediating particle.
Yes, it's the
in the way the photon is the mediating particle.
So, and that's, I don't think you'd find anyone who would disagree with that statement.
Okay.
Although, I don't think you would. Although, it is true to say that because gravity is so weak, so this is the other thing to say.
I'm too efficient, I'm so efficient, so clean.
Three forces of nature, of which electromagnetism is
Here's
one.
what I tell people, you've surely done this in class. They say, well, how weak is gravity? Well, I can pick something up off the floor. against the wishes of Earth.
Exactly.
The whole Earth is pulling on this ball, and I can just pick it up off and kick it
and
into
you're
the goal.
using electromagnetism. That's what's happening. So your muscles and all that thing. So this is all electromagnetic force, which completely destroys, as you said, the gravitational force.
Right.
But gravity is only additive, so it only adds up in the universe. So it's the dominant force on cosmic distance scale. That's the point about gravity.
Here's a calculation I haven't verified, but it sounded legit. Very verifiable. I was too lazy. That if you take, like the space shuttle is glory days, and you take remove the electrons from 1 cubic centimeter in the nose of the main tank, and take all those electrons and put it at the base of the launch pad, it would not be able to launch. The attraction between the electrons at the base of the launch pad and the net positive charge at the top is enough to prevent it from launching.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I can see that would be.
Actually, it would.
Yeah.
Borrow a whole.
Yeah.
It's not a realistic experiment, but to get some sense of the forces involved.
Yeah, that's a really nice.
Okay, so gravity's weak. That somehow bails you out of this problem.
Well, it just means that you can't. We don't have experimental access to them.
Okay.
Because it's so weak.
Whereas we do have experimental access to photons.
Yeah, unless you could potentially have access if there were extra dimensions in the universe that are configured in the right way.
Physicists always throwing in extra dimensions.
Well,
whenever you need it,
It is interesting though that string theory works in 10 dimensions and only 10 dimensions mathematically. So that's an interesting observation, right? So
I don't have the background to be an authentic string theory skeptic, but I know physicists who are, and so
I think there are. I mean, it depends. I think it depends what you mean by string theory. I mean, if you go back, a few decades, to talk to Brian Greene, for example, and when he started working in this area, he was
a friend of Star Talk.
Yeah. He would have. And his great book, The Elegant Universe, it's a beautiful description of string theory. And so I think the idea initially with the hope was that you'd have a theory and you could write it down, it's a theory of everything, and it would predict the universe as we see it.
And then you go home.
And I think that's gone as an idea. But the basic idea of these, I mean, why is it called string theory? It's because particles are not point-like. These strings are like little strings, little loops, but that idea, I think, is still at the foundation of most modern theoretical physics in this area. But it's got much more complicated, and it's been much harder. I think the initial idea that you could just predict everything from one number, maybe, has gone away.
One simple equation on one line.
But there is tremendous progress being made.
What the fuck?
In string theory. So it's not gone away. It's just become more complicated, I would say.
Well, thanks for catching me up on this. At this
No.
Giving a talk on black holes.
Yeah.
And there was some recent announcement, the biggest jet from a black hole ever discovered, ever. When I was asked about it by the press, I simply said, there's always a biggest jet in the universe. And so now this one is that.
So it's the A380.
Okay, so...
Airbus A380.
You don't.
Did I undersell the significance of this huge jet? So what if it's the biggest one, unless there's some interesting physics that's coming out of it?
The area that I share a PhD student who's working in the area is more theoretical. It's about quantum information, the way information behaves inside and outside a black hole, what happens to things that fall in. But in terms of the astrophysical work, if you go back, not long ago, we didn't really have any observation of how things behave in the vicinity of black holes. And so I put it in that box. We've got several observations now. We've got the radio telescope observations from the Event Horizon collaboration that have shown us how the magnetic fields work, for example, around the black hole in the Milky Way. We've got these jets, which are giving you access to the magnetic structure, presumably in the way that they spin.
Thank you for putting it in that context. Now I can understand. It broadens the astrophysical data set on which we can sharpen our hypotheses for what's going on.
Yeah, because they're hard things to observe.
Yeah.
And of course you can't observe the interior because it's inside this thing called the Event Horizon. But what you can do, and we are doing, is observe the way that material behaves in the vicinity of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or but the other remarkable thing we've been able to do in the last few years is watch them collide and see how the ripples in the fabric of the universe come out, and we can detect those ripples. So all these things are allowing us to probe these objects, and it's worth remembering that they were present, they were described, non-spinning ones were described fully by the work that Karl Schwarzschild did in 1916. So months after Einstein had published the theory of general relativity. He didn't know it at the time, but the mathematical description which describes how space and time are distorted in the presence of a star.
The new skins that I didn't see were
there. Those fully describe a black hole that isn't spinning.
If I remember correctly, he would die in the First World War. I don't think he made it out of the war.
No, he died in 1916, so shortly after. Not in action. No,
not in action. Okay.
I think he died from diseases that he was on the Russian front.
Okay.
But it was So
could be war related, but not.
Yeah, it was.
I
think it was.
Yeah.
anyway.